actually brought this chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, so we are both in kindred spirits in the chocolate chips.
Yeah.
I'm a big coffee snob.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not a snob about a lot of things, but coffee is up there.
I really was actually inspired by Let's Play. It's like my all-time favorite video game. I'm gonna draw like a sim with the plumb bob on top of it and everything.
So okay, right. So are you Sims 3 or Sims 4?
Sims 2. It's the best. 2.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 is the best one for sure.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I played a lot of 1. And then I kind of, because I love sim games. Sim games are my, like, simulation games, I should say, are like my top go-to. And then when Sims came out, I played the first one ad nauseum. And then I kind of got out of Sims, the franchise, for a while. I found out, what was it? Legacy stories about people in like Sims 2 and 3, like where they're trying to do things generationally. And they're like, almost cataloging these adventures their Sims are going on. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. So many hours in those games of just like these legacies and adventures that you put your characters in. And I made characters standalone and like like Let's Play characters. I did all that kind of stuff.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because in 3 years, Let's Play has just lived and breathed in so many different ways, as a webcomic, as a simulation game, and now as a Crunchyroll adaptation. Let's Play has a Wikipedia page.
It does?
Yeah.
I know it used to, because I used to have one, and I hosted it, and then my server went down, and I was like, oh, I've got a copy of that, and I didn't. So, but I'm glad that it has its own Wikipedia page now, so I don't have to like personally maintain it anymore.
I'm really actually curious what feels different about season 3 versus season 4.
Season 4 is different because I try not to be controversial. Like, I feel like I can breathe, right? Like, I feel like there's less pressure on it. And I think in a lot of ways that's because of, you know, going at Tapas, which everybody's just really vibes, is really laid back and it's great. But also, like, I think that personally in the hiatus, I've worked a lot on my own level of professionalism when it comes to like feedback and consuming it and how I process it. I mean, Let's Play was my breakout comic. I meet with a lot of people who've been in the industry for decades, right? So me, this is all still a learning experience for me. Despite being at my age, it's all a learning experience for me. So going into Let's Play, it's like I always wanted as a creator to be very open and communicative to readers and be available. But I have learned that as a property grows, that could become very tricky and draining on a creator. And so going into season 4, I feel like season 3, I worked a lot on loving myself more and loving my work more and like giving myself more grace so that I don't need that external validation of reading feedback or that feedback that, you know, could possibly get under my skin more, you know, things like that. And that is just something that I lack because I lack the experience in it. And now I think I've learned how to handle that a lot better. Hopefully. Hopefully. So that's been the journey over the last 3 years for me, and was definitely working on loving myself. And I mean, I think everybody should do that all the time. But I'm one of those people who am like 80% golden retriever. Like, I love everybody, right? I'm 20% cat. Like, if you're cool with me, I'm very cool with you. If you're not, I'm not. But I am never that grace I give other people. I never was good about doing that with myself.
So it wasn't just a professional journey. It was a personal, like a really deeply personal journey. Wow.
Yeah. So it's, you know, I always feel that life is either a lesson or a blessing. And so I think like Let's Play's been a very large lesson in a lot of different fields, but also a blessing in a lot of ways too. I mean, we're getting really deep in this conversation. This isn't a snack. This is the whole meal, right? So
to get started on my little
I know, right? I'm trying now to be like, you know, love yourself, give yourself grace. There's that level of like, you start giving yourself grace and you start loving yourself more. And then you realize that some of the people around you are like, I don't like how you treat me because I love myself now. And then it's like that like kind of rocky relationship starts because you feel like you deserve more respect, and so you kind of start standing up for yourself, and then like those people aren't used to it. It's definitely 3 years of growing, and I'm sure that will reflect in Let's Play in some way, shape, or form. That Sam's learning to stand up for herself and love herself more. So I feel like I had to level up in order to finish the story in a lot of ways.
Like, even if the comic is not directly based on your life, personal journey can really unlock different ways of exploring your art. When you're going through an art block, sometimes it's like, oh, maybe there's like a life lesson to be learned. Maybe if it's like I'm just completely stumped and I can't think of any different creative idea. Maybe it's just like there's some like inner work to be done. That is not really like advice that we're taught.
A lot of creators in this kind of new wave of digital comic creators, a lot of them are in their 20s, and I'm old enough to be their mother for a lot of them, or at least an aunt. And so, like, because I got in this career later in life, I think that talking to a lot of young creators, like, I'm thoroughly jaded by corporate America due to my previous careers. So I go in like, I need a lawyer, I need this, I need to have this checked out. And creators who are just like how to break out comic, just like myself, they're kind of put into this situation they had no experience in, and they don't know what to expect. They don't always have like a source that they can ask, like, is this a good deal? Is this contract okay? And what do I do in this situation? I have fans saying this, I have fans doing this, and the sources isn't out there. It's not like there's a forum that we can all go to and you're like part of a clique and a members only thing where people like you can ask for advice. You just have to hope that people who have gone through the same journey will talk to you about it. A lot of past few years, like I've done a lot of like behind the panel, behind the scene, behind the booth, in a hallway, but conversations with other creators, and they have questions and concerns, and just try to be an auntie to a lot of people. And again, that's the golden retriever side of me. Like, I got to protect these people because they're kind to me. I will be very kind to them.
Oh, you're the cool aunt. That's so sweet.
That's right. I will adopt everyone. Absolutely.
Do you notice things that rising artists are doing that might be holding their career back?
They're not valuing their health enough. I think like, when you're in your 20s, you can pull all-nighters, and because you have like this energy to spare a lot of the time. I have seen it personally. A lot of creators burn out, and I'm guilty of it too, because the most I've ever spent on an episode of Let's Play was 110 hours in a week, and that was terrible. I would not recommend that. But I've seen a lot of other creators just like, one creator saying they put 4 all-nighters a week. I'm like, you just can't do that. Your energy isn't infinite. And you have to take time for your health, or your health will make you take time for it.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand pressure is on creators to get deadlines and to update every week. But, we're not vending machines, right? So we're like, you can't just put money in us and we just crank out episodes. Like and a creator needs to start putting themselves first, because you got to take care of your health, because if you don't have it, you can't create a comic at all.
Now, that's a piece of art advice I really expect. It wasn't art tips. It wasn't how to draw this. It wasn't how to market this. It was take care of your health. That's amazing. That's so underrated.
Art advice is out there. Like, and everybody draws different, right? Like how you draw figures, how you draw expressions, and everybody just needs to find the way that works for them. I think you just got to take care of the artist first, because the artist isn't happy. The artist isn't creating good stuff, right? So, or at least they're not creating happy stuff. Let me rephrase it, because a horror writer's not going to want to create happy stuff. They're not happy, therefore they're not going to feel productive and get that sense of reward. And if they're exhausted and stuff like that, it's going to reflect in their work, and it's going to take a lot of the enjoyment out of them. Like the way digital comics are becoming really, really popular, it reminds me, this is really before my time, but it reminds me a lot of Motown, which was, you had these amazing talent that was just like suddenly booming within like 1 to 2 years. And then you had all these record labels who are just like getting all this amazing talent, and they are just worked into the ground. Some of them are getting paid really well, and others not so much. Though a lot of those Motown creators became legends, it's like, at what cost, right? So,
oh, that's so true.
I feel like that is very like kind of runs parallel with the digital comic, industry right now. It's like it's this booming thing that's taking off. You have all of this talent and people are trying to get all these contracts out and get all this exclusivity and things like that. And it's just people need to be careful. I mean, it's great that it's taking off. Like I knew it would. I knew vertical scrolling comics, webtoons, the style was going to be hugely popular because of smartphones.
Good livelihood at the same time, you know, looking back and saying, hey, was it worth all of it?
American comics have not tapped into like the female readership for a very long time. And they're now just learning that there are a lot of women who are willing to read comics in this world. They just need to create the content.
What's the most supportive thing for your art journey right now?
Supportive?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think that's a good question. Was I supposed to be drawing too?
No, keep going. I kind of like this, but I will show you what I got so far. Though.
Nice plum blob. There you go. Absolutely. At least over the past 3 years, just support has been readers who are patient for the return of Let's Play has been awesome. Some people are much more patient than others, and I do think everybody has every right to be frustrated with waiting. Totally understandable. Those who are like totally get it, you know, do what you got to do, support you. That's been awesome, and I'm just super grateful for that.
You think like the waiting between seasons would probably just be like the hey, it's coming. It's just like just gotta be patient.
I had to wait for exclusivity to expire, so that was not a choice. I'm talking to other comic creators who are American comic creators, so like Marvel, DC. It blows their mind how much like a webtoon creator has to produce a week, because before, like, I had to do 50 panels a week, and that's like what American
52
50
a week.
50,
oh.
Yeah, 50 a week.
Oh wow,
and that's like what a lot of American creators do, like a month, and there's like a team of people working on that. And so it's like they're like, I'll say that to somebody who works at Marvel or DC doing art, and they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, well, I mean, I have AIDS, right? So like I use a 3D modeling background for my backgrounds. I love drawing backgrounds, but my God, I do not have the time. The art process is definitely like trying to do good art, but cut corners at the same time, but make it not look like you're cutting corners. So it's like, if you can do something,
you gotta pick one. You can't do
so
both.
Like, you know, if you could do something to be like, instead of working 80 hours a week, I can work 60 hours a week. You're going to do that. And so like using the 3D modeling software and 3D models, like Sam's glasses are 3D, is a 3D model that I put on her face. So I don't have to think about it. Like I just slap it on there in 30 seconds and it's done. And I don't think some people know that immediately, but other people are like, oh, I didn't realize. So it's like, that's probably an hour per page I'm saving myself just by doing that. And so it's like, am I trying to, you know, win awards for my art? No, I'm just trying to get a story out there, you know, and make it enjoyable. What's funny is that it's actually kind of worked out really well, because the last 3 years have been like traveling and doing cons and doing like I was at SCAD a couple months ago and stuff.
And that's like, what I'm mentioning. Like,
yeah,
those 3 years, you weren't doing nothing.
No,
You've been
so
busy.
Yeah. And I was like, people are like, oh, I've been reading your comics since I was in middle school. And I'm like, so when you say that publicly, please say you were like at least 15, which is in middle school. But now they're either at least 15 or they're like graduated high school. So it's like, okay, now you're more age appropriate to read this than when you were
like, why are you reading this?
Yeah, there's this one person, I won't say what con it was. It was a smaller con, but somebody came up and they're like, oh, I love your comic. I love reading it. It's great. I think they were like 9 years old. And I was like, I don't really want a photo with this person.
I can't say anything because I was probably that age when I was watching Friends. I don't know why I was watching.
I mean, fair. Like I, you know, watched Ghost in the Shell when I was young, you know, and all that, like not Ghost in the Shell, Aeon Flux, which was very suggestive. But like, you know, to meet the creator, be like, well, technically my comic is for 14 and up. I shouldn't be enforcing this. So it's like, thank you for reading the comic. Where are your parents? Because I need that.
I'm not the best drawer, but I like to doodle at the same time.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Drawing's drawing.
Drawing is drawing. Thank you. Thank you.
You're like people who are wanting to get into the industry. They're like, what do you do about, like, what if you don't feel like your art's good enough? And I'm like, I have drawn more bad art than you've drawn good art. Like, I've failed more times than you have tried. So you're fine. Like,
in order to make good art, you gotta make bad art.
You gotta draw a lot of bad art before you can draw good art. And like, don't compare yourself to other people because you're only seeing their best. Nice. I like the kissy face.
Thank you. I got one last question.
Go for it.
It's probably the most important one. So important, so crucial, so dire.
Bated breath.
How does it feel that you've made a Twilight level love triangle of the webcomic world?
Twilight? No, it's not Twilight.
Yeah, it's so.
You're not gonna have a.
It so is.
You're not gonna have a multi-hour wait at Hall H in San Diego.
Okay, but have you seen how people ride and die for these characters?
Yes, yes, that I have seen. That has been interesting. Like, I guess there is a level of anticipation or expectation that it would be a bit team Charles versus Team Marshall. Funnily enough, I originally was going to have Link. Yeah, it was going to be like more of a reverse harem, but was instructed to do it differently. So now it's a triangle, just fine. But it's been entertaining as long as everybody's cool. Some people are not as cool as others. But people think I hate Charles, which I don't know why they think that. I do complain about him incessantly when I stream, like drawing, because Charles is supposed to be very attractive. He's very handsome. Actually, both of them are, Marshall and Charles. But Charles is supposed to be like statuesque and perfect. And I can never settle on his look because I'm like, he needs to be prettier. And so I will be like, all right, let's draw his dumb face, right? Because so I'm like bitter about that fact, not because I have a problem with him as a character. And then Marshall is like, he's like a puppy, right? So it's hard to be like puppy energy to have a problem with it. I love both of them. I cherish them both. I complain about them in an affectionate way. It is funny seeing how people ship these two and just like, you know, I'm doing a con this weekend, and they're like, I said, who do you ship Sam with? And I'm like, it matters because I'm taking a poll because whoever wins. So, and you know, I say jokingly, and they get like really panicky. I'm like, I'm joking.
Oh my god,
I'm joking, just like
yeah.
you think. And they're like, you know, I'm team this or I'm team that, and I'm like, so if you can't pick, it's called sandwich. And I would love for it to be a Polish ship. I would love for it to be, but Charles could never share. Marshall could. Charles could never share. So that's one of those things where it's like you create these characters and they tell you what they can and can't do. Charles can't share. He also can't be bi. I tried so hard to make his character bi, but he's too old-fashioned, I think. Just wouldn't be open to it, which is Marshall's game, but like Charles wouldn't be. So
yeah.
But so yeah, it's been fun. I'm glad that people feel connected and feel passionate about it. That like, let's all be cool, right? Let's all be cool. So it's been great. I would not call it Twilight level though. That would be scary to me. Oh boy.